Hey, what's up, folks? How's it going? This is Avijit here, and welcome to Devops Challenge Hub. So let's dive into today's interview question. And today's interview question is: what are resource requests and limits in Kubernetes? So, as usual, we'll discuss about the concept. Then we'll have a look at the demo program so that to get to understand it better. And at the end, we'll have quiz, whatever based on the concept, whatever we have discussed in the session. Okay. So let's start. In Kubernetes, each container in a pod can declare resource request, that is the minimum amount of CPU memory guaranteed to the container. This is the minimum amount guaranteed to the container. And resource limit is maximum amount of CPU memory a container is allowed to use. So let's say you go to a buffet and you request for two sheets and you are able to get it. That is the minimum. But if you want 20 sheets, you may not get it because they have some internal limits. Maybe maximum 5 sheets you can get. So why this limit is set? So that container or pod should not hog the whole system, should not consume the complete memory and CPU. Like if I go to some party and if I eat all the food, that's one people, right? So that is the idea that it should be staying within the limit. So any app developer or the who package that container, right? He knows that he is going to use this maybe this much memory, and maybe he will keep 50% extra for a limit, and he will set the limit so that it should not cross the limit. If for some reason application consumes a lot of memories and CPUs, it should not cross and hog the whole system because other containers also running in that. And what are the units are used here? For CPU, millicores 500 M 0.54. For memory, it's a MI or GI, like 128 MI or 1 GI. It's not exactly a megabyte, it's maybe byte. MI is maybe byte. And it's power of 2 and megabyte is power of 10. So it will be like all 6 zeros here for megabyte, but it's close but not exactly same. Maybe byte. Similarly, GB byte. Similarly, GB byte, GI. 1 GB byte is this many bytes. Okay, so it's close to 1 gigabyte, but slightly more. Gigabyte will be here all gigabyte. Okay, so why MI and J instead of MB and GB? Because this megabyte is the decimal base 10. Gigabyte is also 10. To avoid confusion, we use MI and GIB because it's a power of 2. So I have already created a cluster, and now I will deploy a pod which is going to eat all the memory. Let's see, pod out of memory, PODOM, So this is a kind pod, and this container name is memory eater, and it's a busy box image. And what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to allocate memory. It is going to eat, trying to allocate memory 200 MB, but allowed memory is the maximum limit is 100 MB, and it's requesting for 50 MB. Requesting for 50 MB under resources, limit is 100 MB, request is 50 MB. So it should be killed, like out of memory should happen. So let's do apply minus F pod done, then kubectl get pod. Okay, container creating error. So error came, like ran and immediately exited because it got killed. Let's describe it. Let's describe pod. Successfully pulled image solid container. Here you can see that back of restarting failed container memory hidden. So because of the memory issue, it got killed. Like 100 MB maximum limit, but it was trying to allocate 200 MB. So let's go to today's quiz section. You can see the top, you can run top command to see CPU and memory. But for that, you have to install some metrics. Okay, you need to install the metric server. After that, you can run a top command to see memory and CPU usage. So what happens if usage exceeds the limits? If memory exceeds the limit, the container is killed. Okay, OM killed, and if CPU exceeds the limit, the container is throttled, not killed. It will be throttled, it will only kill. So why request and limits matter? Because Kubernetes uses request to decide where to schedule the pod. Based on the CPU and memory, it will understand that where it has that kind of resources, right? We're asking this much space, but this much resources, but whether that node has that kind of memory or CPU. Right? So based on that, it will be placing that container in that node. And limit helps prevents one container from hogging all the resources in the node. Okay, let's clean up this cluster also. And now let's go to the quiz section. What happens if the container exceeds its CPU limits in Kubernetes? If it exceeds CPU limits in Kubernetes, is it gets more CPU resources automatically, throttled and restricted from using more CPU, crashes immediately, pod is terminated. So we know that answer is B. It is throttled. It is not killed. It is throttled and restricted from using more CPU. Let's go to the next question. Which of the following statement is true about memory limits in Kubernetes? Try to answer. Exceeds memory limit causes throttling. Exceed memory limits has no effect. Exceed memory limits causes container to be killed. Yes, yes, we know that it should be. It will be killed. Container will be killed. The last question: what is the default behavior if you don't specify resource request or resource request and limits for a container? If you don't specify anything, and this pod.xml YML file, don't mention anything here, right? Resources, limits, and request. Then what happens? Container is not allowed to run. Kubernetes assigns 0 resources. Container can use any amount of resources on the node. So answer will be any amount of resources on the node. That's it for today. I hope you like this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and also follow my LinkedIn page, Devops Challenge Hub, where I post daily, and you can participate in the contest. And also follow my WhatsApp channel. Thank you for watching this video. See you again in the next video.